Some houses look ordinary from the outside: quiet streets, closed windows, a normal front door. But sometimes, the moment you step inside, you feel something is wrong. Not something you can see, something you can feel. In 1975, in Amityville, New York, one family moved into a house that would soon become one of the most famous haunted house cases in history. George and Kathy Lutz arrived with their 3 children. The house was large, beautiful, and unusually affordable. But there was a reason for that price. Just 1 year earlier, a brutal crime had taken place inside the home. The previous owner had murdered his entire family while they slept. The event had left a mark on the house, whether anyone believed it or not. At first, everything seemed normal. The family settled in, the rooms were arranged, the house slowly began to feel like a home. But that feeling did not last. Small things began to change. The air inside the house felt colder than it should. Even with the heating system running, the cold seemed unnatural, as if it was coming from within the walls themselves. George noticed it first. Kathy did not have an answer, but she felt it too. The nights began to change. George started waking up at the exact same time every night, 3:15 in the morning. At first it felt like coincidence. Then it became a pattern, and soon it became something he expected. One night, something was different. The house was silent, but the silence did not feel empty. It felt occupied. From downstairs, George began to hear something, slow, measured, like footsteps moving across the floor below. He tried to understand what he was hearing. He wondered if Kathy could hear it too. But when he asked, she said she heard nothing. And just like that, the sound stopped, as if it had never been there. George got out of bed and stepped into the hallway. The floor creaked under his weight, but the sound he had heard earlier had not come from him. He walked downstairs. The living room was completely dark. For a brief moment he thought he saw something move near the far wall. Something subtle, something that did not belong. But when he focused on it, it was gone. After that night, the house felt different. The children no longer wanted to be alone in their rooms. They said they felt like they were being watched. Doors began to open by themselves. Strange sounds echoed through the walls. Sometimes there were whispers, too faint to understand, but too clear to ignore. Kathy eventually admitted what she was thinking. She believed there was something inside the house, something they could not see but could feel. George did not argue, because by then he had already begun to change. He became quieter, colder, more distant. He spent more time inside the house, as if something there was holding him in place. One night, one of the children woke up crying. They believed there was someone in the room. George rushed in immediately, but there was no one there. Still, the room was freezing. The windows were closed. The heating system was on. That was the moment Kathy said they needed to leave. Her voice was unsteady, but George was not ready. Not yet. At least, not until the final night. That night, everything changed. George woke up again, 3:15. But this time it was not just a sound. At the top of the stairs there was something there, not fully visible, not clearly defined, but present. It stood still, watching. George believed there was someone inside the house, but this time no one needed to answer. Because everyone was already awake, and everyone felt it. The house was no longer quiet. Doors slammed shut, walls creaked under pressure, and the whispers were no longer distant. They moved through the rooms, closer, stronger, as if something was trying to speak but could not. That was when George made the decision. They had to leave. and this time no one disagreed. In the middle of the night, the family left the house. They did not pack, they did not prepare, they simply walked away. They never came back. What happened next turned the story into a global phenomenon. Books were written, movies were made, and the Amityville house became one of the most debated paranormal cases in history. Some believed the family experienced something real. Others claimed it was nothing more than a fabrication, a story designed to attract attention. But the truth was never fully proven. And the question still remains. What really happened inside that house? Maybe the most unsettling part is not the story itself. Maybe it is the idea that a house can appear completely normal while something inside is quietly waiting.